Captain Marcus Hale had always believed that if trouble was coming, it would announce itself, usually with explosions or alarms. Life on the human colony of Vidia was supposed to be quiet. Nestled around a lonely yellow star on the far edge of explored space, the colony had become a haven for settlers seeking a peaceful life, far from the crowded core worlds. At least, that was the dream. Reality had other plans. Pirate raids, rogue military drones left behind by forgotten wars, predators from the surrounding alien wilderness. Over the years, Vidia had survived them all, and through every crisis, one name had become legendary among the colonists. Captain Marcus Hale. Tall, broad-shouldered, and carrying himself with the quiet confidence of a man who had faced death too many times to fear it, Marcus wasn't famous for being the fastest shooter or the strongest soldier. He was famous for something far more valuable. He never panicked. When everyone else lost control, Marcus stayed calm. That calm had saved hundreds of lives. It was why the settlers trusted him. It was why children waved whenever he walked through the streets. And it was why, every morning, he made the same patrol through the colony. Not because regulations demanded it, because people slept better knowing he was watching. The morning began like every other. The colony plaza buzzed with life. Merchants opened their market stalls. Cargo drones floated overhead carrying supplies. Children chased each other between fountains, while engineers hurried toward the power district, carrying steaming cups of coffee. Marcus greeted familiar faces as he reviewed security reports on the tablet attached to his wrist. Nothing unusual. No pirate activity. No emergency alerts. No unexplained sensor readings. For the first time in weeks. Everything was peaceful. Then, the sunlight changed. At first, Marcus thought it was a trick of his eyes. A faint shimmer rippled across the sky, like heat rising from sun-baked stone. Almost invisible. Several people stopped walking. Others looked upward. The distortion grew stronger. The air itself seemed to bend. Colors twisted unnaturally as space folded inward. Marcus frowned. His instincts screamed. This wasn't weather. This wasn't technology he recognized. His hand slowly moved toward the sidearm on his belt. The shimmering intensified. The plaza fell silent. Conversations stopped. Cargo drones froze in place as their navigation systems struggled against the growing distortion. Then, with a flash of blinding white light, the impossible happened. A glowing portal tore itself open above the center of the plaza. It hovered nearly 30 meters in the air, its edges crackling with streams of blue and silver energy. The opening looked less like a doorway, and more like reality itself had been ripped apart. A powerful wave of energy rolled across the colony. Windows rattled. Lights flickered. Every electronic display briefly shut down. Children clung to their parents. Workers stumbled backward. No one had ever seen anything like it. Marcus never took his eyes off the portal. His military instincts immediately took over. Security teams, establish a perimeter. His voice echoed across the square. Civilians, move away from the plaza. The crowd obeyed instantly. Within seconds, armed security officers were rushing toward the scene. Weapons drawn. Eyes fixed on the impossible gateway hanging above them. Marcus activated his communicator. Control, I need every sensor pointed at that portal. A burst of static answered. Then the frightened voice of the operations officer. Captain, our scanners can't identify it. A pause. It's not behaving like any known technology. Marcus narrowed his eyes. Whatever had appeared above Vidia, it hadn't come by spaceship. It hadn't emerged from hyperspace. It had simply appeared. Then something moved inside the glowing light. A shadow. Large. Slowly stepping toward the opening. The entire colony held its breath. Whatever came through that portal was about to change humanity's future forever. Children clung to their parents' hands, and even the colony's robots paused in their routines, their sensors scanning the anomaly. From the center of the portal, a figure emerged, tall and majestic. The being's skin shimmered with colors that shifted like liquid rainbows, and its eyes glowed with an intensity that seemed to peer directly into the soul. Marcus instinctively stepped forward, his hand resting lightly on the hilt of his energy blade. "I am a messenger of the Queen of Zara," the figure said, its voice melodious yet firm, vibrating with authority. "The Queen has summoned Captain Marcus Hale. Your presence is requested on her world." "This is not a request, it is an order." The plaza fell into stunned silence. Colonists whispered among themselves, unsure whether to feel honored or terrified. Marcus felt a mix of emotions: curiosity, caution, and a hint of pride. He had never been personally summoned by an alien queen before, but his training had taught him to respect authority, even if it came from another species, and he knew refusal was not an option. "I accept," Marcus said, his voice steady, though his mind raced. "When do I leave?" The messenger extended a hand, and a small orb of light appeared in its palm. "The Queen awaits your arrival. Step into this portal, and you will travel to Zalara. Your journey begins immediately." Marcus glanced back at the plaza. The colonists watched him expectantly. He nodded once, acknowledging their silent support, and then stepped forward into the glowing light. The sensation was unlike anything he had ever experienced. The air seemed to dissolve around him, colors blending, sounds stretching and twisting. He felt weightless, as if his body had become part of the energy itself. And then, in a blink, he was standing in a different place entirely. Sarah was nothing like Vidya. The air shimmered with faint luminescence, and the sky glowed with multiple suns that bathed the world in soft golden light. The ground beneath him was firm, but strange, covered with crystals that reflected light like tiny stars. Towering structures of translucent material rose into the sky, twisting and curving in impossible shapes. Strange creatures moved gracefully between the buildings, some hovering, some walking on multiple limbs, all with an elegance that seemed almost otherworldly. Marcus's eyes widened, but he forced himself to focus. He had a mission now. The messenger approached him again. "This is the capital of Zalara," it said. "The Queen will see you shortly. You will be escorted to the palace." Before Marcus could respond, a soft hum filled the air, and a platform rose from the ground beneath him. It hovered smoothly, gliding over the crystalline terrain. He stepped on, feeling a slight vibration as the platform carried him toward the largest structure in the city, a palace of impossible scale, shaped like a spiral of glowing crystal that seemed to stretch toward the heavens. Inside the palace, Marcus was struck by the beauty and precision of the architecture. Every surface glowed faintly, and the wall seemed to pulse with life. The corridors were wide yet intimate, filled with soft light and subtle melodic sounds that resonated, like music without instruments. The air smelled faintly sweet, like blooming flowers, but with an undercurrent of something more alien, more profound. At the center of the palace, a great hall opened before him. The alien queen awaited on a raised platform, her presence commanding yet calm. Her form was taller than any human, elegant and symmetrical, with skin that shifted colors like liquid silver. Her eyes glowed softly, reflecting wisdom, power, and curiosity all at once. She regarded Marcus with an intensity that made him stand perfectly still. "Captain Marcus Hale," she said, her voice both gentle and commanding. "I have observed your actions among your people. You have shown courage, intelligence, and a sense of honor that is rare among your kind." Marcus bowed slightly. "Your Majesty, I am honored by your recognition." The Queen continued, "I have summoned you because humans possess qualities that my people admire, but cannot fully understand. Your adaptability, your resilience, your ability to act decisively under pressure. These traits are unique. I have chosen you for special training that will challenge every skill you possess and every limitation you believe you have." Marcus felt a mixture of pride and apprehension. "Special training, Your Majesty?" he asked. "What will it involve?" The Queen's eyes seemed to pierce through him, yet her voice remained calm. "The details will reveal themselves in time. Know this. The training will test not only your body, but your mind and spirit. You will face challenges unlike any you have encountered. You will learn, adapt, and grow, or fail." Marcus nodded, swallowing a lump in his throat. He had faced dangerous situations before: space pirates, alien beasts, environmental hazards. But the Queen's words hinted at something far beyond anything he had imagined. And yet, he felt a spark of excitement. He had trained his whole life for moments like this. and he would not falter. A sudden sound of soft chimes drew his attention to the side of the hall. A group of alien warriors approached, their forms, elegant, but strong, carrying equipment and devices Marcus had never seen. One of them stepped forward, bowing slightly. "Captain Marcus Hale, I am Solara, your guide and mentor during this special training. You will follow my instructions, and you will endure challenges that will push you to your limits." Marcus extended his hand, and she grasped it firmly, her strength surprising him. "I will do my best," he said. Solara nodded. "That is all I ask for now. But remember, doing your best is not enough. You must learn to think beyond your best. On Zalara, the mind can be as dangerous as the strongest weapon." The queen observed silently, her gaze both patient and intense. Marcus felt a strange mixture of awe and determination. He had been a guard, a protector, a soldier, but now he was something more. He was a student, a representative of humanity, in a world that challenged the limits of imagination. As Solara led him through the palace, Marcus took in every detail: the shimmering floors, the floating platforms, the alien creatures performing tasks with grace and precision. He realized that Zalara was a world of perfection in motion, and he would have to adapt quickly if he was to survive and excel. By the time they reached the training chambers, Marcus's mind was racing. The chamber itself was vast, with walls of reflective crystal and a floor that seemed to ripple like liquid. Strange symbols glowed on the walls, shifting and changing as if alive. In the center stood a series of obstacles, devices, and strange objects that Marcus could not identify. "This is where your training begins," Solara said. "Here you will learn to push your body, expand your mind, and discover strengths you did not know you possessed. You will not fail easily, Captain Marcus Hale, for failure is not the path we walk, but success will demand more than courage. It will demand ingenuity, endurance, and heart." Marcus squared his shoulders and nodded. He had faced danger all his life, but this was different. This was not a battlefield with clear rules. This was a test of everything he was, everything humanity represented. He felt the weight of responsibility, not just for himself, but for the people he represented. As he stepped forward into the unknown, Marcus felt a thrill unlike any other. The path ahead was uncertain, filled with challenges that would stretch him beyond his limits. Yet, he felt ready. For the first time in his life, he realized that being human was not a limitation. It was a strength that could surprise even the most advanced alien civilizations. And so, with determination in his heart and curiosity in his mind, Captain Marcus Hale took his first step into the special training, unaware of the adventures, trials, and discoveries that awaited him. The portal to his future had opened, and he was ready to walk through it. Captain Marcus Hale's first night on Zara was sleepless. Even in the palace's quiet quarters, the strange light that filtered through the crystal walls made it impossible to relax completely. His mind raced with images of the alien world, the queen and the mysterious special training that awaited him. Every sound, the hum of energy, the soft ripple of the crystalline floors, the faint movements of creatures outside his window kept him alert. Morning came in waves of soft golden light, reflecting from Zara's twin suns. Marcus dressed in the simple uniform provided for him, a light, flexible suit that shimmered faintly, adjusting to his body temperature and movement. Though it looked delicate, Solara had assured him that it could withstand extreme force and adapt to unusual environments. He met Sarah in the central hall, where the air shimmered with colors shifting like a living rainbow. Today, she told him, he would begin his first lessons not with weapons or combat, but with observation and understanding. "You must learn to see Zara with more than your eyes," Solara explained here. "Danger and opportunity are hidden in plain sight. You will need to sense both to survive. Humans have natural instincts. Let us see how far those instincts can reach." Marcus followed her through corridors that seemed to bend in impossible ways. The walls reflected his image endlessly, creating the illusion of dozens of him moving at once. He kept his focus, aware that every step was a test of patience and perception. Their first stop was the observation chamber, a large circular room with a domed ceiling. From here, Marcus could see the palace grounds, the city beyond, and even the shimmering forests that lay outside the capital. Solara pointed to various points in the landscape. "Notice the creatures moving across the plains," she instructed. "Some are predators, some are prey, some are peaceful, others dangerous. Watch them closely. Learn their habits. Learn to anticipate their movements. This skill is vital in any training. Marcus squinted, focusing. At first, the differences seemed subtle. One creature, a quadruped with wings like silk, moved swiftly, but paused at intervals to scan the area. Another, a tall, spindly being, moved with careful steps, as if it weighed every movement. He began to recognize patterns, understanding how instincts and intelligence combined in a world so different from Earth. "You are learning faster than I expected," Solara said, her voice approving. "Humans can surprise us with their ability to adapt quickly, but observation is only the first step. Understanding comes from experience, from facing challenges directly." Before Marcus could respond, the floor beneath them began to shift. Panels slid smoothly aside, revealing a glowing elevator. "Follow me," Solara instructed. "It is time to begin physical training. Your body must match your mind if you hope to survive what comes next." The elevator ascended rapidly, the walls lit with patterns that shifted as they moved, seemingly mapping their progress. When the doors opened, Marcus stepped into the training arena, a massive space that stretched beyond what his eyes could see. The floor was made of a material that seemed solid, but had a faint give, like walking on thick gel. The walls reflected light and sound, making the arena feel endless. Solar gestured to the center, where various obstacles floated in midair. Some were physical, platforms that moved, beams to balance on, walls to climb. Others were less obvious, shimmering outlines that shifted and changed, challenging perception and timing. "This arena adapts to your abilities," Sarah explained. "It will test every skill you have: strength, agility, endurance, focus, and adaptability. Humans are known for improvisation. Let us see how yours fares in an alien environment." Marcus stepped forward cautiously, testing the floor beneath his feet. It shifted slightly, responding to his weight. He jumped onto a floating platform, which moved slowly at first, then began to tilt unpredictably. He had to adjust his balance constantly, his muscles straining. The arena seemed alive, responding to his movements and forcing him to adapt. Hours passed like minutes. Marcus climbed, jumped, dodged, and balanced. Solara observed silently, occasionally offering guidance. "Do not fight the arena," she advised. "Flow with it. Predict its patterns. Humans can think creatively. Use that to your advantage." By the time the first session ended, Marcus was sweating but exhilarated. He realized that this training was more than physical. It was mental. Every move required anticipation, calculation, and trust in his instincts. He could feel himself learning, adapting, growing stronger, not just in body, but in mind. After a short rest, Sarah introduced the next phase, communication with Zara's environment. She handed Marcus a small device that projected holographic images of various creatures, objects, and situations. "You will learn to read these signs," she explained. "Zara communicates in patterns, not words. A flicker of light, a shift in movement, a sound too faint for humans to notice. These are all signals. Understanding them will save your life." Marcus focused on the holograms, analyzing each one carefully. At first, the pattern seemed random, but gradually he began to notice cause and effect. Certain movements indicated aggression, others curiosity or caution. Some creatures responded to sound, others to light. Marcus realized that Solara was teaching him to expand his senses, to understand the world in a new way. The day passed quickly, filled with exercises that challenged every part of him. Marcus pushed himself to exhaustion. Yet each challenge left him more confident. He felt the thrill of discovery, the realization that humans could learn and adapt faster than the Queen might have expected. At night, he stood on the balcony of his quarters, looking out over the glowing city. The crystal towers reflected the twin suns, bathing the world in gold and violet light. The forests beyond glowed faintly, alive with movement and mystery. Marcus felt a mixture of awe and determination. This world was beautiful, dangerous, and utterly alien, but he was beginning to feel at home in it. Sarah appeared beside him, her presence calm and reassuring. "You have done well today," she said, "but tomorrow the challenges will be greater. You will face situations designed to push your limits. You will encounter dangers that are unfamiliar, perhaps terrifying. But remember, Captain Marcus, Hale humans have a unique strength, the ability to think beyond what seems possible. You must trust in that strength. Marcus nodded. His jaw said, I will, he said. I have faced danger before, and I have survived. I will survive here too, smiled faintly, a gesture that seemed almost human in its warmth. It is not enough to survive. You must excel. You must learn to turn challenges into opportunities, to use every resource, every instinct, every thought to your advantage. That is what the Queen expects of you. That is what Zara demands. Marcus felt a surge of determination. He had come to this world as a guard, a protector. But here, he would become something more. He would become a bridge between humans and aliens, a symbol of what his species could achieve. He realized that the Queen's special training was not just about combat or skill. It was about understanding adaptation and growth. As the twin suns dipped below the horizon, casting long, glowing shadows across the palace, Marcus felt a deep sense of purpose. Tomorrow the training would continue, and the challenges would increase. But he was ready. He would face the unknown, learn from it, and become stronger for it. For the first time since his arrival, Marcus allowed himself a small smile. Zara was a world of wonders and dangers, of beauty and mystery. And Captain Marcus Hale was ready to meet it all. The portal to his future had opened, and he was walking confidently into the unknown, prepared for every challenge that awaited. The next morning, Captain Marcus Hale woke to the soft glow of Zalara's twin sun spilling through his quarters. The palace was alive with light and sound, each pulse and shimmer reminding him that this world operated on rules far different from those of Vidya. Today, Zalara had promised his training would move from observation and adaptation to the real trials, challenges that would test not only his body, but his mind and spirit. He dressed quickly, feeling the snug yet flexible uniform, adjusting to his muscles, supporting his movements while allowing freedom. Marcus was no stranger to physical strain, but a sense of anticipation tingled through him. The Queen's words echoed in his mind. You must excel. Survival alone is not enough. Zalara met him in the hall, her tall figure glowing softly. Today, the arena will push you beyond anything you have faced. You will encounter simulations, physical challenges, and unexpected situations. Your instincts alone will not be enough. You must combine skill, strategy, and quick thinking. Marcus nodded. I am ready, he said, though a flutter of nervousness stirred in his chest. They arrived at the main training arena, larger than he had ever imagined. The walls glimmered with shifting light, giving the illusion of endless space. Floating platforms hovered, moving slowly at first, then accelerating unpredictably. Holographic images shimmered into life, showing alien landscapes, creatures, and enemies. Each challenge seemed designed not just to test strength or speed, but perception, strategy, and adaptability. The first trial, Zalara announced, is combat in zero-gravity conditions. You will face holographic opponents. They can strike from any direction, and the arena will move with you. Remember, fight with your mind as much as with your body. Marcus stepped onto the first platform. The moment he left solid ground, he felt the unusual pull of gravity shifting around him. It was disorienting at first. He floated slightly upward, then drifted sideways as the arena's forces adjusted unpredictably. His training on Vidya had taught him balance, but this was unlike anything he had experienced. He had to rely on instinct and observation, feeling the subtle shifts in air pressure and energy around him. The holographic opponents materialized, tall, swift creatures with long limbs and sharp reflexes. They lunged and struck in patterns designed to confuse him. Marcus ducked, twisted, and struck back with careful precision. His movements were guided by a combination of practiced skill and improvisation. When one attack failed, he adapted immediately, predicting the next strike. Hours passed in what felt like minutes. Marcus moved through holographic waves of enemies, each more complex than the last. His muscles ached, his mind raced, yet he felt a thrill unlike any other. He was learning not just how to survive, but how to dominate challenges that seemed impossible. Zalara watched from the sidelines, occasionally offering advice. Humans are unpredictable, she said quietly, almost to herself. They can turn weakness into strength. Marcus is showing promise, but this is only the beginning. After the zero-gravity trial, Marcus was led to the next challenge, the pattern room. Here, holographic projections displayed sequences of light, movement, and sound. His task was to anticipate the next steps, dodge hazards, and respond in ways that required both logic and intuition. At first, the sequences seemed random. Marcus stumbled, misjudged a step, and nearly fell multiple times. But gradually, he recognized the patterns, the subtle repetition, the slight cues in light intensity and rhythm. He learned to trust his instincts, blending calculation with intuition. By the end of the trial, he moved with a fluidity that surprised even himself. The third challenge tested his endurance. Marcus entered a long, twisting corridor filled with shifting terrain, from liquid floors to spiked platforms, to walls that rotated slowly. He had to run, jump, and climb, while avoiding obstacles that appeared without warning. Each step required quick thinking and adaptability. More than once, he stumbled or miscalculated, but he quickly recovered, learning from each mistake. By the time he reached the corridor's end, he was exhausted, but exhilarated. Solara appeared beside him, offering a drink that shimmered with faint light. "You are learning quickly, Marcus. Remember, physical strength alone will not carry you through the final trials. Mental acuity, creativity, and teamwork will be just as important." Marcus nodded, wiping sweat from his brow. "I understand," he said, "but I never imagined training could be this complex." Solara smiled faintly. "Solara is a world of complexity. Only those who can embrace it fully can survive. You will face more than obstacles. You will face decisions, puzzles, and moral challenges. The arena is a reflection of the real world. Adapt, and you will thrive. Hesitate, and you may fail." The next exercise was a simulation that combined all previous trials. Marcus found himself in a holographic battlefield, a vast alien landscape filled with enemies, hazards, and civilians in need of protection. He had to navigate shifting gravity, anticipate enemy attacks, and rescue the holographic civilians while avoiding traps. The task seemed impossible at first, but Marcus relied on the instincts and lessons he had learned earlier. He moved swiftly, balancing agility with strategy. He leapt across platforms, dodged attacks, and coordinated rescues with precision. At one point, a holographic explosion knocked him off balance, sending him floating toward a sharp crystal formation. He twisted midair, grabbing a floating ledge at the last second. His heart pounded, but he forced himself to stay calm, adapting to the unexpected situation. Hours passed in this simulation. Marcus felt every muscle strain, every nerve fire with tension, and yet, he refused to give up. The thrill of mastering challenges, of pushing beyond his limits, gave him energy he did not know he possessed. By the end, the simulation ended, and he stood victorious, breathing heavily, but triumphant. Solara approached, her glowing eyes reflecting pride. "You have done well, Marcus. You have demonstrated adaptability, intelligence, and courage. But the greatest challenge is still ahead. You will face situations that cannot be predicted, where every decision matters. Prepare yourself, for these trials will test the very essence of your being." Marcus felt a mixture of pride and apprehension. He had learned much in just a day, yet he sensed that the Queen's challenges were only growing. He realized that Solara was not simply testing physical strength or mental skill. It was testing character. Each trial required judgment, ingenuity, and heart. The evening came, painting the crystal city in hues of violet and gold. Marcus stood on the balcony of the arena, looking out at the sprawling city below. He could see alien citizens moving gracefully, performing tasks with elegance, and creatures of all shapes and sizes, navigating their world with skill. Marcus felt a connection forming. He was beginning to understand the rhythm of Zara, the logic behind its complexity. Sarah appeared beside him. "You have done well today," she said. "But remember, Captain Marcus Hale, these trials are more than training. They are preparation. The Queen does not simply test strength. She tests potential. Your actions will shape not only your future, but the future of humans here on Zara." Marcus nodded, feeling the weight of her words. He had come here as a soldier, a guard, a protector, but Solara demanded more. It demanded leadership, ingenuity, and courage in ways he had never imagined. He was ready to meet that demand. As night fell over the crystalline city, Marcus allowed himself a moment of reflection. He thought of Viridia, of his family, of the people he protected. He realized that everything he had learned, every challenge he had faced, had prepared him for this moment. Zara was testing him, shaping him into something greater than a guard. And Marcus Hale was ready to face every trial, overcome every obstacle, and prove that humanity's strength lay not only in physical power, but in adaptability, intelligence, and heart. Tomorrow, he knew the trials would grow more difficult. The arena would become more unpredictable, the challenges more demanding, and the lessons more profound. Yet he felt no fear, only determination. For in the heart of Zara, Captain Marcus Hale was discovering the true potential of humanity, and the Queen's special training had only just begun. The next morning, Marcus woke with a sense of anticipation and determination. Today was different. Solara had hinted that the upcoming trial would combine every lesson he had learned: the observation, the agility, the pattern recognition, and the improvisation skills. It was the culmination of the special training the alien queen had promised. He dressed quickly in his uniform, feeling the familiar support of the material against his muscles. Each movement felt natural now. He had grown stronger, more adaptable, more confident. Solara met him in the hall, her luminous form reflecting the sunlight streaming through the palace's crystalline walls. "Today, Captain Marcus Hale," she said, "you will lead not just yourself, but a team. You will face a scenario designed to test your leadership, your decision-making, and your courage. You will encounter enemies, obstacles, and unexpected situations. Your success will depend on your ability to think beyond instinct, to anticipate, and to inspire those under your command." Marcus felt a thrill of responsibility. He had trained for this moment, but leadership carried a weight different from physical challenges. He had to ensure the safety of others, make strategic choices, and remain calm under pressure. He nodded. "I understand. I am ready." Solara led him to the largest section of the arena yet. The floor opened to reveal a holographic battlefield that extended in every direction. Mountains rose. Rivers of glowing liquid weaved through valleys, and strange alien structures provided both cover and obstacles. Human and Zalarian allies appeared beside him, a mixed team trained in different skills and strategies. The simulation began with an alarm that echoed across the arena. Holographic enemies, agile and dangerous, emerged from every direction. Marcus immediately assessed the situation. He organized his team into units, some to defend key positions, others to flank the approaching enemies, and a small group to protect the simulated civilians in the area. He moved quickly, issuing clear commands: "Keep formation, cover each other, watch the civilians." His voice, steady and calm, inspired confidence in the team. Humans and Solarians alike followed his orders with precision, trusting his judgment. The enemy struck with speed and strategy, attacking from unexpected angles. Marcus reacted instinctively, using lessons from previous trials: zero-gravity dodges, pattern recognition, and creative use of terrain. When one ally was threatened, he was there in time, adapting to the changing battlefield. Hours passed as Marcus led the team through waves of attacks. Some challenges tested their strength, others their intelligence. A bridge of light collapsed unexpectedly, forcing quick thinking and improvisation. A holographic enemy emitted a confusing pattern of lights and sounds, designed to distract the team. Marcus recognized the pattern, signaling his allies to move safely around it. At one point, he faced a choice: rescue a group of civilians trapped under a collapsed structure, or intercept a particularly dangerous enemy targeting the main unit. He paused, analyzing the situation, trusting both his instincts and the intelligence he had gained from Solar's lessons. He made a bold decision to split his forces, personally leading the rescue while delegating the interception to a skilled ally. The move was risky, but it worked. The civilians were saved, and the enemy was neutralized. Marcus's leadership and quick thinking impressed even Solara, who observed quietly from the sidelines. "Humans are unpredictable," she murmured. "They can turn impossible situations into victory." Marcus is a living example of that potential. The simulation continued with escalating difficulty. Obstacles changed without warning. Enemies adapted to their strategies, and environmental hazards emerged. Sudden storms of energy, shifting gravity fields, and traps that tested reflexes and foresight. Marcus led his team with unwavering focus, adapting at every turn. By the end of the trial, the battlefield was quiet. Marcus's team had completed the objectives, saved all civilians, and neutralized the threats. He stood breathing heavily but triumphant, looking at the mixed group of humans and Zalarians who had fought under his command. He felt pride not just in himself, but in their cooperation, trust, and courage. Solara approached him, her eyes glowing with approval. "You have done more than succeed, Marcus. You have demonstrated leadership, strategy, and the ability to inspire. You have proven that humans are not only capable but exceptional. The Queen will be pleased." Marcus nodded. Humbled, he realized that the trial was more than a test of skill. It was a recognition of human potential. He had faced impossible situations, made life and death decisions, and led a diverse team to success. He had proven that humans could rise to challenges beyond their comprehension, adapting and thriving where others might fail. That evening, Marcus stood on the palace balcony, looking out over the glowing city. He thought of the trials, the lessons, and the growth he had experienced. He felt a deep sense of purpose. Zalara was not just testing him, it was preparing him for a role larger than he had imagined. The Alien Queen's special training was no longer simply about personal skill. It was about trust, leadership, and demonstrating that humans could be more than guards. They could be allies, strategists, and symbols of courage in a universe full of unknowns. As the twin sun set, painting the city in shades of violet and gold, Marcus made a silent promise to himself. He would not fail. He would embrace every challenge, learn from every mistake, and prove that humanity's strength lay not only in physical skill, but in heart, intelligence, and adaptability. The day following the test began with quiet anticipation. Marcus had trained for weeks, learning to master his body, mind, and instincts in ways he had never imagined. Now he was to meet the Alien Queen herself once more. He did not know whether he would face praise, further trials, or new responsibilities, but he felt prepared. The palace's great hall shimmered with light as he entered. The Queen waited at the far end, her presence both commanding and serene. Around her stood the council of Zalaria's advisors and mentors, observing silently. Marcus felt the weight of their gaze, a mixture of scrutiny and curiosity. "Captain Marcus Hale," the Queen began, her voice melodious and firm. "You have completed the special training. You have demonstrated skills, courage, and leadership that exceed expectations. You have faced challenges designed to test the limits of your species. And you have prevailed." Marcus bowed deeply, humbled. "Your Majesty, I am honored. The training has taught me much. I am grateful for the opportunity." The Queen's eyes glowed softly. "You have done more than learn. You have shown that humans are adaptable, resilient, and capable of thinking beyond instinct. Your species possesses qualities that even we, with all our knowledge, struggle to understand fully. You have proven that humans can thrive where others might fail." Marcus felt a surge of pride, but he remained composed. "I only did what I could, Your Majesty. I learned from your guidance and Solar's instruction. I owe my progress to your teaching and trust." The Queen's gaze softened, acknowledging his humility. "Humility is a strength, Marcus. So is courage. You have earned more than praise. You have earned trust. From this day forward, you will serve not only as a guard, but as a liaison between humans and Zalarians, an advisor in matters of strategy and defense. Your role will shape the future of our collaboration and the place of humans in the galaxy." Marcus felt a mixture of honor and responsibility. He had come to Zalera as a soldier, a protector, but now he realized his purpose was greater. He was a symbol of humanity's potential, a bridge between worlds, a representative of the species he loved. Sarah stepped forward, her expression warm. "You have done more than survive. You have inspired. Zillara will remember this, and the humans will have a place here because of your actions. Your training has prepared you, but your courage, adaptability, and intelligence made you truly exceptional." Marcus nodded, feeling the weight of their words. He thought of Viridia, of the people who depended on him, and of the long journey that had brought him here. Every trial, every challenge, and every moment of doubt had led to this point. The Queen extended, a hand presenting Marcus with a crystal emblem that glowed faintly with the same colors as her skin. "This is the emblem of trust," she said. "It signifies your accomplishments, your loyalty, and your responsibility. Wear it with pride. Your actions have earned respect not just for yourself, but for all humans." Marcus accepted the emblem, feeling its warmth and energy. He looked around at the council and his fellow trainees. "I will honor this gift, Your Majesty. I will do everything I can to strengthen the bond between our species and ensure that humans continue to earn your trust." The Queen inclined her head. "See that you do. Your journey does not end here, Marcus Hale. It begins anew. The galaxy is vast, full of challenges and opportunities. Humans have a role to play, and you will help define it. Trust in your instincts, your intelligence, and your heart." That evening, Marcus walked through the palace gardens, the air filled with glowing flowers and soft melodic sounds. He reflected on his journey from a guard on a quiet human colony to a representative of his species on a world of unimaginable beauty and complexity. He had faced trials that tested every aspect of his being, yet he had emerged stronger, wiser, and more confident. He realized that the Queen's special training had transformed him. It had shown him that humans were capable of extraordinary things: adaptability in the face of the unknown, leadership under pressure, and courage beyond instinct. He felt a deep pride in his species, and a personal sense of purpose that he had never known before. Marcus knew that the challenges ahead would not be easy. Solara was only one world among many in the galaxy. Threats, mysteries, and opportunities awaited. But he also knew that humanity had a place among the stars, and he, Captain Marcus Hale, would ensure that humans earned it. As the twin sunset, casting long, shimmering shadows across the Crystal Palace, Marcus looked toward the horizon. His journey was only beginning, but one truth was clear. Humanity's strength lay not just in physical power or numbers, but in courage, adaptability, and the indomitable human spirit. And in the heart of Zara, Captain Marcus Hale had become a living testament to that truth.